This meeting is already called to order. Thank y'all for being here tonight. A quick mayor's report because I just left the conference center. I've been standing there since 7 this morning, campaigning, and the election, the polls will be open until 7 p.m. So anyone that has not voted, this meeting will not last until 7 p.m. So you have time to go to the conference center and vote. It has been a busy day. We are in the middle of going through our budgets with all of our department heads, and that is really consuming most of our time right now. So with that, I will ask the board to adopt an agenda with the following changes. Yes, with the following changes. If you will add to your consent agenda item 3D7, request permission for an employee to attend the 2025 NFPA Convention and Expo on June 15th through the 19th in Las Vegas at an estimated cost of $2,500. To the regular agenda, if you will delete number 4A, and if you will add at 5A, to add wording to include approval for the reservation of 4 parking spaces in the lower lot behind City Hall. That's at 5A. And at 7G, to request permission to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract in the amount of $1,728,857 with Donald Smith Company for the construction of the Whirlpool Well No. 3 project. So those are one deletion and those several things to be added. With those changes, could I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request permission to approve the minutes from the regular meeting on May 20th and the special meeting on May 21st.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request permission to approve the accounts for all city departments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ask you to consider the consent agenda with the one addition.
Motion to consider the consent agenda with one addition.
Second. All in favor?
Excellent.
Any opposed? All right.
Thanks, babe.
Request permission to approve a parade assembly permit for the Juneteenth celebration on June 14th from 2 until 8 p.m. Chief? Oh, did I skip something? Okay, yeah, I skipped a whole section. Sorry, guys. Not only did I skip, this new agenda just throws me every time. Okay, sorry. Yep, 2 pages. Request permission to adopt a retirement resolution for Oxford Police Department employee Sheridan Maiden. Is that why you're looking at me like I have 3 heads?
Come on, DC. So, Mayor, I thought this was really cool that Deputy Chief's oldest daughter, Sheree, wrote this resolution, and we have her on the live feed. So,
love it.
really cool that she wrote this, and it is a great proclamation. But we've also got her being able to watch this live. So, so it says, whereas Deputy Chief Sheridan W. Maiden has faithfully and honorably served the citizens of Mississippi and the Oxford Police Department with exceptional commitment, valor, and unwavering dedication for over 4 decades. And whereas his distinguished career beginning in 1981 has been marked by excellence in service, rising through the ranks from patrol officer to deputy chief of the Oxford Police Department with notable leadership roles at the Starkville Police Department, Mississippi Law Enforcement Officers Training Academy, Jackson State University Department of Public Safety, Madison Police Department, Chief of the Mississippi Capitol Police, Director of Law Enforcement for the Mississippi Department of Finance, and multiple city police departments. And whereas Deputy Chief Maiden has demonstrated a steadfast devotion to justice, public safety, and community welfare, mentoring generations of officers, advancing professional standards, and upholding the core values of integrity, service, and respect. And whereas he has served as a pillar of strength and wisdom within the Oxford Police Department since 2008, where his vision, leadership, and administrative acumen helped shape the department's growth and strengthen its bond with the community. And whereas Deputy Chief Maiden's impact extends far beyond the badge, through his example, he has inspired trust, fostered unity, and left a lasting legacy of honor, courage, and excellence. Whereas he has made a mark on the city of Oxford, the Oxford Police Department, and the entire Oxford community with his dedicated service that will be remembered for years to come. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Oxford express their sincere appreciation and gratitude to Sheridan Maiden for his work on behalf of the Oxford Police Department and the city of Oxford. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the city of Oxford, and the copy of the same be presented to Sheridan Maiden on this, the 3rd day of June, 2025.
I knew this day was coming, but doesn't make it any easier. My family, we all stand again. My 2 grandsons, my wife, well, my 3 grandsons and my wife, and Hannah, our new addition. We adopted Hannah. This has been and of course my daughter who's watching, that's been my pillar. I've tried to live the type of life that they would be proud of and be the example that I would want them to follow. Sit down now. Wow. I had written something, and every time I looked at it, I said, that's not what I want to do. So I stand here thanking you, this board, this department, and the people of Oxford for allowing me the opportunity to serve here. It's been an enjoyable opportunity. People I've worked with have been gracious enough to put up with some of my antics. They're a wonderful group. And this board, you guys have done a remarkable job at how you support our department. I can't say enough, when I go places, people are always talking about Oxford. And it makes me proud, not just the police department, but the entire city, the way it runs. Everybody talks about how clean it is, how easy it is to just feel comfortable. My oldest grandson came from New Orleans, and as a little kid, whenever they would come up to visit, he would say, finally, my people. He's coming to Oxford. And now he don't want to go back to New Orleans. He's found a home here and he wants to stay here. That's the type of community we have here. And it's not because of one person, it's because of everyone. The blood, sweat, and tears that go into making this place what it is. And I stand here as a recipient of not only Oxford, but all those that came before me. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that. I'm not anybody special, I'm just another guy who's been blessed. Thank you. Words can't express my gratitude for working with Jeff, the guys at the department, this board, the other city department heads, and all the people of Oxford. It means a lot to me to be here, and I thank you.
We cannot thank you enough, DC. Just listening to you talk, I'm thinking about, you're talking about this legacy that's our community, and you've affected that at every level. Your fingerprints are on everything that's happened here for the past however many years. When I think about the Oxford Police Department and how proud I am everywhere I go for people to say, wow, y'all have got the best police department in the state. You're so well trained, so professional. The people that deal with PD on the square for special events and all of those things. I mean, that's the team you and Jeff put together. That is the type of mentor that you've been to the men of the Oxford Police Department for so many years, that you've created leaders and you've empowered them to go do good work. And so I'm going to miss you as a friend, being in every meeting. and catching up on after the meetings. And I'm going to miss your familiar face and the peace and comfort that follow you around. When you walk in the room, you're just a bridge builder. And no matter what that room is, and you and I have been in some tough rooms together where conversations were not pleasant. And always you can bring things such levity and such a calm, cool response. And I value that and hope that I'm learning from you in the ways that I've watched you be a bridge builder. So thank you for all that you have done for this community, for all of the nights you've missed at home, for all of the events with your family you've missed over these many years, for putting yourself at risk for us every single day. We will forever be grateful for you, and we're going to miss you.
Thank you. You hear that, Troy?
Mayor, I think our next agenda item is a request to purchase his weapon.
It is. So
Can we get a motion on
could I
this?
have a motion to accept DC's retirement resolution?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission for Oxford Police Department employee Sheridan Maiden to purchase his service weapon for $1 as allowed by state statute.
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Request permission to approve the Oxford Utilities Electric Division budget for FY 25-26.
Good evening. If you recall, we reviewed the Oxford Utilities Electric Division budget on May 13th, approximately 3 weeks ago. No changes have been made to the budget since that time. Kept everything exactly the same and haven't gotten any questions. I'm just here to get final approval because our budget starts July 1. We're on the July 1 to June 30th schedule, so just need to get it approved here in June.
Probably as we go back to page, whatever that was.
I was about to say, any questions or clarification, I'm here to help. And Rick, I know you didn't even attend the other meetings, so I'm sure you got many
I've got a lot of
questions. We're going to miss you too.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Request permission to accept the annual audit for fiscal year ended September 30th as presented.
And Brian is
Brian's
here
here
to do his little presentation of the summary.
All right. Thank you for being here, Brian.
Thank y'all. Thank you for having me. I know y'all are looking for a quick agenda tonight, so I'll try to be even more brief than normal. I know it is election night, and some of you want to get out of here before 7, as you mentioned earlier. But we have finished your 9/30/24 audit. We're a little earlier this year. Usually I'm here in July or August. We have finished. I sent Ashley a draft a couple of weeks ago. Just now getting here to go over it with you, but the earliest deadline you have for any requirement is June 30th. We are well in advance of that this year. I want to thank Ashley and Jesse for helping make that happen and working with us to get this expedited. But you have about a 102-page document, 103-page document. I did prepare, as I usually do, a one-page executive summary of that. And I may even skip over some of those points this year, but I'll be glad to answer any questions or address any issues you may have. First thing to note on page 2 in the big document, of course, is our opinion on your financial statements. That's on the letterhead of our firm. We are Franks, Wildman, and Haygood. Our contact information is on that letterhead. Please feel free to reach out to us if we can help in any way. But it is an unmodified opinion. This is the 4th year in a row you've been able to have an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance we can provide. Page 4 through 12 is what we refer to as MD&A, or Management Discussion and Analysis. Just a few of the key points are on page 4, and then on page 10, referencing debt. You did have a new debt issuance this year of about $13.6 million. You did pay off about $7.7 million this year. Then the financial statements actually begin on page 13, which is your statement of net position. Page 13 lists the assets owned by the city of Oxford. You can see the magnitude of the assets, $364,198,072. and that is after accumulated depreciation on your equipment and infrastructure has been recognized. That is a $33,126,238 increase over the previous year. Your cash reserves, which are again presented on page 13, did increase by $9,262,546 this year. The investment fund, which is of course set up in a separate fund, it also increased this year by $5,662,000. Page 14 continues that statement of net position. Your liabilities that the City of Oxford is responsible for, those did increase by $11,801,000, primarily because you issued new debt this year of just over $13 million. The pension liability also had a small increase of $1,148,000 related to the unfunded portion of the public employees retirement system. And then your total net position, which is your assets minus your liabilities, increased by $13,218,958. So everything from a statement of net position standpoint increased or improved over the previous year. Page 18 deals with revenue and expenses of your general fund, which is your primary operating fund. The revenues this year were $46,603,018. That's an increase of $5,986,084 over the previous year. Your expenses were $43,359,171. That is a modest increase of $777,301. The increase in fund balance, which of course is your revenues over your expenses, so your fund balance increased by $5,969,039. Sales tax, which again is a indicator of the health and strength of your city, your numbers are fabulous. They did increase again this year. We'd had sizable increases over the last 2 years. This year we had a more modest increase of 3.78%, but still in the positive direction. Special taxes, which is your tourism type taxes, hotel, motel, and restaurant type taxes, did see a slight decrease of $172,000 this year, about 1.83%. First decrease we've had in a number of years. But still, when you look at your total expenses of $43 million in the general fund, plus your other governmental funds, if you take your sales tax, special tax, and free grant money, either from state or local agencies, that funds 51% of your total governmental fund expenditures. That is extremely strong and extremely positive to be able to say that. Your governmental funds, total governmental funds, not just the general fund, did increase by $11,457,227 this year. Then dealing on page 24, dealing with your utility funds, you see all of those did operate at a positive, in other words, revenues in excess of expenses. You see those numbers presented for you. I won't read through all those, but the total was $5,660,855. Then on page 25, 39, and 40, all deals with your infrastructure. And you can see that you added $13 million and $15 million, either in your utility funds or your governmental funds. So that's over $29 million of additional infrastructure and assets that were added this year. Remember, you only borrowed $13.6 million. You added $29 million of infrastructure and assets, and your cash reserve still increased by $9 million. Very, very positive. Page 41 and 92 deal with the debt of the city. Remember, we talked about total assets of $364 million. Your total long-term debt is $64,960,112. That is an increase of about $5.4 million, again related to the $13.6 million of new debt issued this year. Dealing with pension liabilities, I'll just sort of give you that number for the significance of it. Then your federal awards on page 93. Of course, anytime you have federal grant dollars over $750,000, we have to perform additional procedures related to those grant funds. This year, you did expend $7,700,014 of federal grant dollars. Page 98 is a summary of our auditor results. You did have one finding, as we have to refer to it, on internal control and compliance, and one finding related to federal awards. Those are presented on page 102 and 103. The one on 102 deals with your fixed asset infrastructure compliance reporting. It's been in there a few years. I know you're making a lot of progress on that, come a long way, just not quite to the standards yet. And then the last finding on page 103 is a very, very insignificant amount, but due to federal dollars, it does have to be mentioned. Any questions? I told you I'd be brief.
You did great, as
But
always. We
very,
appreciate
very-
the summary.
Very positive results for the city
Yes.
again this year. We've been doing this audit for you for a long time now. We truly appreciate the opportunity to do this. Thank you for allowing us to serve you this way. Ashley, Jesse, a pleasure to work with, and of course, a
Yes,
great
thank
place to
y'all.
come.
Yes, thank you, Brian. I
Thank y'all.
appreciate it, and thank you, Ashley. I know that this is all a result of your and your staff's hard work, so
Well, that-
thank
And the
you.
department heads too. Y'all
Thank
help
you.
us out a lot, doing the things that we ask, and this is why.
That's right.
Move we approved to accept the audit.
All in favor? Any opposed? Right, thank you. All right, now we'll request permission to approve a parade assembly permit for the Juneteenth celebration. And this is the item that we added wording to include approval for the reservation of 4 parking spaces in the lower lot behind City Hall. Chief?
Is this the morning event?
I have to click on I'm looking at my paper agenda.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So we've got that event. We've also got another one on the 14th, but Juneteenth, we're solid. We've got that squared away. Working with Ms. Keisha on that, on the roads that we need to block, and then we'll get those put out on social media and with our PACE team.
Move to approve. Oh, you didn't ask, sorry. Well, I was just excited for it. Mary Martha and I have been at the conference here since 7. Y'all forgive us. We're doing the best we can at this point. Look, he's exhausted. It's hot today. Yeah. I've got to Slow down. The wording allows for the reserving of the 4 parking spaces behind City Hall in the lower lot. So, do we have a motion, Mary Martha?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to petition the Mississippi Wireless Communication Commission for the procurement of 5G cable, cradle point devices, and Motorola APX 900 portable radios, Chief.
So we have a wireless communication program in Jackson that it accrues money every year through citations and fines. We're asking to be able to request to apply for that money so that we don't have to spend budget money out of some of the technology things that we'd like to buy.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to approve a parade assembly permit for the Lafayette County Democrats to host a rally/march on June 14th from 10:30 to 12:30, Chief.
Yes, ma'am. So this will be in front of City Hall. They will occupy the space, the steps in that area, and then one lap around the courthouse there on the square, and then back to City Hall for speaking. And
So
it's a 2-hour event.
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Great, thank you. Second reading and public hearing on a proposed ordinance amending and/or relocating multiple sections of Chapter 22 buildings and Code of Ordinances of the City of Oxford. Myself.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is a second reading of proposed changes of Chapter 22. Since our first reading, no changes have been made. I would mention, developer reached out to me, expressed his concerns about one of the proposed changes
Okay.
to Chapter 22. Outside of that, I haven't received any other concerns or complaints or questions in regards to the changes of Chapter 22. What's before you is what it'll all look like once all the changes are approved and passed. I did find a typo that I do have to correct, and it's just a line error.
Okay.
I do have to correct that before I submit that to Ashley.
Okay, so this is a second reading and public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak in regards to this item? All right, seeing none, would the board wish to consider voting on this tonight, or do you want to have a third reading and vote?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Jonathan, can you tell them what the developer's issue was?
Yes, it was in regards to the sprinkler system. We proposed a change to the ordinance instead of requiring a 13R to a 13 system, which would require the building to be protected better, which the difference between the 13 and 13R, 13 requires you to sprinkle the attic and in between the floors. But the code also allows alternative methods by doing something different besides the sprinkler heads, such as insulation, filling cavities, things of that nature. The reason for the change is because the Mississippi Rating Bureau does not recognize a 13R system. So that,
Your recommendation is to stay the same, stays with the change you've got.
yes.
All right. What would y'all like to do?
This one's, it's actual public safety. Isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
I say,
To accept and vote.
yeah, second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Great, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Third reading and vote on a proposed ordinance amending chapter 98, street sidewalks, roads, and bridges. You see all of the different articles there, about street trenching, right-of-way management, and utilities, telecommunications permits to amend the traffic calming policy as well.
Yeah, so I think the wording is a little off. So this would be the third reading for the change to the traffic calming policy to eliminate speed tables as a stage 2 option. So we've had first two, there were a couple of guys that currently have applications in, spoke at your last meeting, but this would be the third one.
All right. I messed that up. So, does anybody have questions, concerns, want to move forward with this change?
I move to approve changes to section 6325.
Second.
All right, second, all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Second reading and public hearing on a proposed ordinance amending chapter 98, street sidewalks, roads, and bridges, street trenching, right-of-way management, and telecommunications permit of the Code of Ordinances for Oxford, Mississippi.
Yes, this just is going to change those ordinances to require contractors or utility companies to video our infrastructure before and after work. So that way, if they bore through a sewer line or a storm drain line, we'll know it while we've got them on site and can make them fix it.
Okay, this is a second reading, so this is a second reading and public hearing. Is anyone here to speak on this issue? All right, seeing none, would you all like to consider that for a vote tonight or have a third reading?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Request permission to advertise for bids for the 2025 microsurfacing project. John?
Yeah, microsurfacing is our annual pavement preservation project where we go in and do a thin slurry seal over streets that are not so bad. The idea is to catch them before they get too far gone to preserve the pavement life. And there's a list that we've come up with that's attached for you guys to peruse. We have budgeted $500,000, but we try to stay under that a good bit this time. It's gone off without a hitch the last couple of years, where we think it's a good program and hope you wish to continue it.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Consider change number 6 for the State Road 7 Water Improvements Project, Phase 2B.
Yes, so the gas station down at Highway 328 and Highway 7, their sewer line, we didn't discover it until construction started. MDOT didn't know about it, nobody knew about it, but it does go under the highway, and we're going to have to replace it and lengthen it for the 4-lane project. So this change order covers the roadway bore, which adds like an additional 400 feet to it, so it's pretty expensive for just a gas station, but we got to do it.
$70,000.
$70,000, yes, ma'am.
So moved. We have to do it.
Yeah,
Second.
All in favor? I know. That's right, any opposed? No. Okay. Consider a request from Miller Valentine for Sunday work on June 8th at the Colonnade Self-Storage Facility located at 1669 Bainbridge Street. Oh, do we not? Oh.
This is in Colonnade, down behind Myers Apothecary, is where their
Okay,
building
let me
is.
back up. Rick said that we didn't vote on the one before. I'm sorry, I thought we did. So we had a motion and a second for the change order. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, I thought so. Now we did it twice. Now we double did it. Okay. Request from Miller Valentine for Sunday work.
Yeah, this is a self-storage facility down behind the existing Myers Apothecary building. They're asking to work this one Sunday to get the slabs ready to pour, all their utilities plumbed in and everything. We have received no complaints thus far from these guys. They're down in a hole, generally away from everybody.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to release the subdivision bonds for the Lamar phases 4A, B, and C.
Yeah, work has actually been done on these for a while. So these performance bonds are due to be released. All the work that's covered under these has been done, inspected, tested, good, ready to go.
Do we have a motion?
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? And then we had one more agenda item that we added at 7G, request permission to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract in the amount of $1,728,857 with Donald Smith Company for the construction of the Whirlpool Well number 3 project.
Yeah, so you guys approved this bid a couple of meetings ago. The contract books and bonds have come back. So this is just asking for permission for the mayor to execute those so we can turn them loose.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, I'll ask that the board consider an executive session.
Move we consider executive